I'm Noreen and welcome to my garden and this week's episode of Noreen's Garden. What you are seeing is my rhubarb plant. It is time to harvest this baby and I thought it might be a good idea to show you exactly how we harvest rhubarb and how we process it. So you only want to eat the stem portion, and it's this portion here that looks like celery, sort of, but it's very tart and it's very delicious, made into a pie. I actually pulled the leaf off, it's down there, so we're just going to start making a pile. And what you want to do, come down here honey, is you want to grab it close to the ground and just pull out straight like that, and it will come out just like that. You see the end there, and then you just grab it and you pull, and it will separate from the root section. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull these out just like that.
And then it'll come back next year.
And it will come back all by itself. And for those of you who are wondering, this is a different strain of rhubarb. It is supposed to be green.
They don't get red.
They don't get red. They get only red at the tips. And I've had many people tell me, oh, rhubarb does not grow here. Well, yes, it does, because I've had this rhubarb in my garden for 5 years now. So I'm going to finish pulling this. Then we're going to take it inside. Oh, and then if you don't pull it soon enough, then you end up with a sad piece. I'll finish pulling it, and then we'll take it in the house, and I'll show you what to do with it next.
Nice one.
Yeah, it is. Alright, here's our harvest from this morning. Just a quick look. We took several tomatoes and of all kinds. There's lemon boys and romas in there, a few green peppers, a whole bunch of hot Thai chilies, and a nice handful of fresh raspberries. I still have them coming on, and there's a couple of eggplants down there on the bottom. So, yeah, that's what our take was this morning from the garden. I love this time of year. You just never know what you're going to get. It's always a surprise. Okay, before I take these in the house, I'm just going to go ahead and pop the leaves off, and I'm just going to put them there, and the next time Rick goes over it with the lawnmower, it'll mulch into the ground. It's fine. So just take it close to the leaf and give it a snap. It's pretty easy to process this. Then we're going to take it inside and I'm going to get it ready to go in the freezer, because that's my favorite way to process rhubarb. I have never tried to dehydrate it, but I have always frozen it, and I've never tried to can it. I honestly don't think that it's very conducive to canning, because I think it would break down the cell structure, and I don't think that it would be very good at all. These might be too skinny, but that's okay. Alright, we're going to take these in the house, wash them up, and I'll show you what I do next. Alright, I've cut up most of my rhubarb. I brought it inside, I put it in the sink, I scrubbed it, and then I cut both ends off to where they were nice and clean, and then I put it back in the sink and I ran it under cool water again. And now I'm just taking each stalk and I'm slicing it about 1/2 inch or so. It doesn't have to be precise. You can use this in crisps, crumbles, pies, cobblers. You can make jam with it. Blueberry rhubarb or strawberry rhubarb jam or blackberry rhubarb jam or just rhubarb jam. You know, you can make pie with it and it's delicious. It adds a nice sweetness and tartness. You have to put a lot of sugar with rhubarb, so when you look for recipes that have rhubarb in them, you'll see they have quite a bit of sugar, because this has a lot of tart flavor. I have a recipe for strawberry rhubarb jam and also for a berry rhubarb cobbler that I did not too long ago. I'll link those below in the information box. And if it's a little bit, you know, this isn't dirt, it's the way that the stalk is colored. And then you can just pop it in a freezer bag. You can go to the trouble of putting it in individual bags that have about 2 cups if you like, but I just pop it all in one bag, pop the bag in the freezer, and then when I want it, I pull it out and I take out whatever I want. Because this, once it freezes, you can just smack it on the counter and it'll break up pretty easy. So make sure that I always like to fold it over and get as much air out as I possibly can. You can put this in a food saver bag as well. and then just stick it in the freezer. That's what I'm going to do, stick that in the freezer. But I wanted to give you a little information on rhubarb. Okay, before I say goodbye, I just want to give you some fun facts about rhubarb. Now, this was funny because I just learned this myself, is that rhubarb is usually considered a vegetable, but in 1947, a court in New York decided that since it was used here in the United States as a fruit, it counted as a fruit. And all this was done in order to avoid taxes and tariffs or duties that were a result of importing rhubarb. Now, the reason was because the taxes or tariffs on vegetables were higher than they were for fruit. So the court said, nope, rhubarb is a fruit, so we don't have to pay as much tax on it. And then I alluded to the fact that the leaves contain oxalic acid. However, I misspoke. The leaves actually contain, and I'm going to have to pronounce this properly, oxalic acid. And they say that, you would have to eat so much of the leaves, like I think 5 kilograms of the leaves in order to have like poisonous effects. Some people are more sensitive than others, but it is just a good idea to stay away from consuming the leaves at all. They are used in Chinese medicine. Rhubarb roots have been used as a laxative for several millennia, and rhubarb also appears in medieval Arabic and European prescriptions, so I thought that was kind of cool. And then the last thing, which I thought was interesting, you may or may not know, rhubarb is actually a rhizome. So it reproduces through its root, very much similar to ginger or asparagus. So those are some fun facts about rhubarb. I hope you enjoyed this video on how to pick and process rhubarb for freezing for later use. I hope that you learned something. I hope you try it. I hope you love it. And until next time, I'll see ya.